What if the life you were meant to live has been silently slipping away, not because you lack discipline, not because you're lazy, but because something hidden deep inside you wants it that way? For years, you've called it procrastination. You've told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, I'll try again next week, I'll finish it when the time feels right. But the truth is, time has no mercy. Tomorrow becomes yesterday in the blink of an eye, and you are left with a quiet ache, wondering why your dreams remain untouched. You may have heard this book before, but here, you won't just hear it, you'll feel it. So, let me ask you, what are you really afraid of? Because procrastination isn't about laziness, it is about fear, a hidden psychology woven into your very identity. Somewhere in the shadows of your mind, a voice whispers, "Not yet. You're not ready. If you try and fail, what will that say about you?" And so you wait. You wait until the pressure is unbearable, until deadlines crash into you like waves, until you're forced to act not out of passion, but out of panic. But let's go deeper. Because procrastination has a secret. It protects you. It shields you from truths you're not ready to face. Think about it. As long as the project remains unfinished, it still holds the potential to be perfect. That novel you never wrote, it could have been a masterpiece. That business you never launched, it could have changed your life. In the silence of delay, your dreams remain untouched, flawless, untested, invincible. But the moment you begin, the illusion shatters, reality steps in. And so, without realizing it, procrastination becomes your twisted shield, protecting you from disappointment, from failure, from the terrifying possibility that maybe you're not as extraordinary as you hope. And yet, isn't that the cruelest trap of all? Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Procrastination is one of those forces. It isn't random, it isn't weakness. It is a mirror held up by your unconscious mind, forcing you to confront the very fears you'd rather avoid. So, what are you running from? Maybe it's the fear of failure. That if you try, the world will finally confirm your deepest insecurity, that you're not enough. Or maybe it's the fear of success, because success means change. It means responsibility. It means stepping into a version of yourself that demands more courage than you think you have. And so you linger in the in-between, not failing, not succeeding, not alive, not dead, just waiting. But here's the truth. Waiting is not neutral. Every day you postpone your calling, the clock keeps ticking. Time does not stop to comfort you. It does not care if you're afraid. It only asks one question. Will you use me, or will you let me slip away? Pause for a moment. Reflect on your own life. How many chapters remain unwritten because you keep telling yourself there will be more time? How many relationships never deepened? How many dreams never lived because the comfort of later felt safer than the risk of now? And yet, somewhere inside you, you know that this isn't just about productivity. This is about identity, about the story you're telling yourself, about who you are and what you're capable of. Because procrastination is not your enemy. It is your teacher. It reveals where your shadows lie. It shows you the places where fear still governs your choices. And if you're willing to look closely, it will guide you to the very wounds that need healing. But the question is, are you ready to listen? Think back to the last time you delayed something important. Maybe it was a job application sitting untouched on your laptop. Maybe it was a conversation you kept avoiding. Or maybe it was simply a dream you carried for years, a book, a song, a business.
always postponed, always pushed into the future. Notice how, in those moments, your body reacts. Your heart beats faster when you think of starting. Your mind finds excuses. The timing isn't right. I don't have the energy today. I'll feel more inspired tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. This is the hidden psychology at work. Your brain is not betraying you. It is protecting you. To the unconscious mind, starting something meaningful feels dangerous. Because what if you give everything you have and it still isn't enough? What if the world looks at your creation and shrugs? What if the people you care about laugh? So instead of facing that pain, your mind chooses the safer option, delay. But deep inside, delay carries its own pain. It is quieter, slower, more corrosive. It eats at you from within, whispering, "You are wasting your life." And here lies the paradox of procrastination. You avoid pain by delaying, but in doing so, you create a deeper, longer-lasting suffering, one that follows you into your sleep, into your dreams, into the silent hours when no one is watching. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the parts of yourself you reject, the fears you bury, the truths you refuse to face. Procrastination is often the shadow in disguise. It looks like laziness. It feels like distraction. But in reality, it is the shadow saying, "I am not ready to be seen." Ask yourself, what part of you are you protecting by procrastinating? Imagine the student who never finishes their thesis. On the surface, they seem careless, but look deeper. As long as the thesis remains incomplete, they can still believe they are brilliant, their ideas untested, their potential untouched. Finishing it means facing the possibility of mediocrity, and that, to the ego, is unbearable. Or think of the artist who never shares their work. They delay, they tinker endlessly, they say it's not ready. But in truth, it is the fear of rejection that holds them hostage. For as long as the canvas stays hidden, they can still believe they are a genius misunderstood, rather than an artist ignored. Does this sound familiar? Procrastination is not about time management. It is about self-protection. Every later is a shield. Every delay is a fortress built around your most fragile identity. But here is the secret. The shield is killing you. Slowly, silently, it steals your days, your weeks, your years. And one day, you will wake up and realize the shield did its job. It protected you from failure, but it also protected you from life. So I ask again, what are you really afraid of? The fear of failure is obvious, but the fear of success is just as powerful. Success means stepping into the unknown. It means carrying responsibility. It means losing parts of yourself, identities, relationships, comforts that no longer fit the person you're becoming. Some people procrastinate not because they doubt their ability to succeed, but because they fear what that success would demand. Who will I become if I achieve this? Will people still love me? Will I still love myself? And so they wait. Not because they lack ambition, but because ambition terrifies them. The hidden psychology of procrastination is this. It is never about laziness. It is about fear. Fear dressed as waiting, fear disguised as perfectionism, fear whispering, "Not today." But time is not infinite. Each moment you delay is a moment you will never touch again. The sand is slipping, grain by grain, through your fingers. And the cruel truth is, You will never feel ready. Read that again. You will never feel ready. There will never be a perfect day to start writing your book. There will never be a perfect moment to tell the truth. There will never be a perfect time to begin living the life you keep imagining. The only moment you ever had and will ever have is now. So why do you keep running from it?
But maybe procrastination isn't your enemy after all. Maybe it is your messenger, a silent guide pointing toward the places inside you that still need healing. Because if you listen carefully, procrastination speaks. It says, here is where you are still afraid. Here is where your shadow still controls you. What if instead of fighting it, you learned from it? Think of it this way. Every time you delay, your unconscious is revealing a story about your wounds, your hopes, your hidden desires. That email you can't bring yourself to send, perhaps it isn't about the email. Perhaps it's about your fear of being ignored. That project you never finish, maybe it's not about time. Maybe it's about the weight of expectations you carry from childhood, the voice of someone who once told you you weren't good enough. And so you wait, because in the silence of waiting, you feel safe. But here's the twist. Safety is an illusion. The longer you wait, the heavier the weight becomes. The fear does not fade, it grows. What if you saw procrastination not as a weakness, but as a compass? Every time you avoid something, it points directly to what matters most, to the work that terrifies you because it has the power to transform you. And isn't that what life is about? Transformation. So, what if instead of asking, how do I stop procrastinating, you asked, what is my procrastination trying to teach me? Pause here. Reflect. Think about that one thing you've been putting off. That phone call, that chapter, that decision. Ask yourself, what truth am I avoiding? What would it mean about me if I actually did this? The answers might scare you, but they will also free you. Because procrastination is not here to chain you, it is here to show you where the chains already are. And once you see them, you can begin to break them. It begins with a choice, not a grand heroic decision, not a perfect plan, just a choice to take one step, however small, however clumsy, to face the shadow instead of turning away. You don't need to conquer time. You don't need to master productivity hacks. What you need is courage. Courage to begin before you are ready. Because readiness is a myth. And perhaps that's the secret you've been waiting to hear all along. If these words resonate with you, know this: you're not alone. Thousands are caught in this same silent battle, delaying, waiting, protecting themselves from the very life they long to live. That's why we create these journeys here, to remind you you are not broken, you are human. If you've felt that sting of lost time, subscribe, and let's uncover these hidden truths together. But remember, subscribing is not the step that will save you. Action is. So, what will you do when this video ends? Will you click away and return to waiting? Or will you dare to face what procrastination has been trying to show you all along? Because the moment you take that step, even the smallest one, something shifts. The shield begins to crack. The shadow begins to dissolve. And in its place, a new possibility is born.
Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of two paths. On the left is the road of delay, familiar, comfortable, safe. You know it well. You've walked it for years. It asks nothing of you except to keep waiting. But when you look closer, you see the truth. It leads to nowhere.
It dissolves into regret, into a quiet life unlived. On the right is the road of courage. It is uncertain, rocky, frightening. It demands risk. It demands effort. But it also carries the promise of transformation. On this road, every step you take brings you closer to the person you were meant to become. Which path will you choose? Because procrastination is not a pause. It is a decision to hand your life over to fear. And every day you wait, you choose the left road again and again. But the right road, it only requires one step. Not perfection, not confidence, just a step. And the moment you take it, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the shadow. Remember this, procrastination is not laziness. It is pain. It is fear disguised as comfort. It is the story you tell yourself to avoid the truth. But the truth will not disappear. It waits for you, silently, in the work you avoid. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you finally face it, when you begin before you're ready, the fear doesn't vanish, but it loses its power. You realize that the monster guarding the gate was only smoke, only shadow. And beyond that gate is freedom. So I'll ask you one final time. What is the one thing you've been delaying? Picture it now. Feel the weight of it in your chest. And then imagine the freedom of doing it, of finishing it, of finally living it. What would that version of you look like? What would they feel like? The only thing standing between you and that life is the story you keep telling yourself. And you have the power to change that story. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Because time will not wait, and one day you will either look back on this moment as the day you began, or as another day you let slip away. The choice is yours. It always has been. Misty Wave. Dive deep, rise transformed.